huge deal because tankers rely so much on fossil fuel.
Check. Ooh. There we are.
Pretty little.
Check, check. Mic check. That sounds good. Check, check, check. 1, 2, check.
Okay, so Overy doesn't have any kind of
Check, check, check. 1, 2, check, check.
override right now, so I can tell people in the
Check, check, check. 1, 2. Check, check, check. 1, 2.
Yeah, they can. Look at Chico's is going to be at several locations around town, like senior center, and then it's outside.
Yeah.
They can
As
find
long as you get around, but this way you don't have to worry about feeding her.
You made it through the dead zone.
And the only thing is,
transport me with someone. I found it years ago. You're great, I'm not ready. Okay.
Well, so what happened was I was.
Do you do the barriers with the fence and
Your son. If you're already photos of your phone, this is a real.
Oh, right. Check, check.
what's her name?
Check, check. Check, check. Yeah, no, that is very true. Check, check.
Yeah, I did, I know.
Do you have, okay.
Stress removals.
What you need, what else is there?
Oh, we need 2 waters for the other candidates.
The store's locked.
Oh, yeah.
I can't use the water. But
We'll grab it.
I have it on the radar. Yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah, she just was so much. Oh, yeah. How are you doing? I'm okay. How are you? I'm good. It's good. Campaigning going. Yeah.
Have you ever done it before?
Have I? Oh, no, I think everybody else into it. No. Tutoring. But it's tutoring for those of us who are we don't want to get out of But that's, I didn't know, it's kind of, we have heard about it. I got 75. Oh, wow. Yeah, I got those too. Yeah, thank you. Tracy. Tracy, give me a minute. Tracy? Oh, yeah, sorry.
Time, I'm sorry. About Testing. Oh, this is your 4-minute warning. 4-minute warning till we're going to get going.
He's here.
Is this on? Can you hear me? Excuse me, everyone. We have a packed. Excuse me. We have a packed house tonight, and I would want to encourage everybody to move inward or outward or whatever. Don't leave vacant seats, so we have more room for people to come in that are latecomers, because we're running out of seating here. So if you could move to the aisles and move to the center rather, and leave the aisle seats open for people who are coming in late.
It's very nice to you. Kurt is actually the name I go by, yes ma'am. That's my first name though. Whatever you want to call me, it's fine.
Those I have it.
My dad was Ed, so I always went by Kurt.
All right, good evening, everybody. All right. Good evening and welcome to the Albany County Public Library. My name is Rachel and I am the director here at the Public Library. And it is our privilege to host this last forum of the primary election. We're going to talk about it. Early voting is already going on. So thank you all for being here and attending. For those of, we have a full room. For the people online, you can't see it, but we have a very full room tonight, which is awesome. And as a reminder, we are streaming this online and it will also be recorded and posted on our website. So if you know folks that couldn't be here tonight, want to watch it, please encourage them to go find that on the website and watch it and get informed. So I always like to say, and start these off by reminding people that the purpose of a public library from the dawn of public libraries was to connect people to information. And information comes in a lot of forms, and increasingly in our digital age, ironically, information comes in the form of person to person. And it's great that we have the opportunity in our small community to hear directly from the people who are running from office. And we are really glad that as a public library, we can help facilitate this forum. So candidates, thank you for being here and joining us and running. Audience, thank you. Online folks, thank you. And now I'm going to turn it over to the League of Women Voters.
Hello, I'm Matthew Link, the president of the League of Women Voters of Laramie. We, the League, are a staunchly nonpartisan organization specializing in voting and elections. Our mission is to educate and empower voters. And as you can see, I'm a man. The League invites men and women over the age of 16 to join us. If you want to learn more about us, we have a table there in the back with some League materials. And on the other table in the back, we have invited all of our candidates running in the primary election to put any promotional materials. So if you want to learn more about your candidates, it's on the other table back there. Okay, let's talk about a tradition. Oh, testing.
Rachel.
Oh no, what'd I do? Pushed one thing. There, okay. All right, good. Okay, let's talk about a tradition of our Laramie League forums, which is audience participation. As many of you have already noticed, we are encouraging audience members to pose questions, and we have roving League members coming around. So if you have a question, please don't get up. Stay in your seat, put your hand up with a question, and a League member will stop by to pick it up for you. Kind of skipped over something here. A couple tips about getting your questions asked. Please refrain from personal attacks. Please direct your questions to an office, not a specific candidate. And try not to wait until the last minute of the forum to formulate a question. It's unlikely to get asked if we have a glut of questions, which we already do. Okay, let's talk about the format of the forum here. Our candidate panel will have questions posed to it by our moderator. Each candidate will be given the same amount of time to respond, and unless otherwise noticed, that will be 90 seconds, 90-second to respond. And we have some timekeepers here, the most important and most difficult job of the forum, to help our candidates stay on track and manage their time wisely. Now, the most important sign there is the red one, the stop sign. That means you have precious little time to pipe down, or a moderator might cut you off. Okay, let's see here. And at some point, because timekeeping is such a strenuous job, we'll probably switch our timekeepers, and we'll let you know when that happens, so you can decide who to focus on. Okay. We are giving our moderator discretion to edit questions for clarity tonight, and appropriateness, and if she desires, to pose any follow-up questions to expand on an issue. A couple technical considerations for this evening for our candidates and our moderator. First off, please speak clearly into the microphone. It's not just for the sake of the audience out here, it's so we pick up high-quality audio for our recordings on our streams and videos. Okay, and let's just do really quick visual aid. The most important ritual of the evening, I'm taking my phone here and I'm turning the ringer off. All right. And along those lines, please do not record with any electronic devices during the forum. All forum content is the property of the Laramie League of Women Voters in the Albany County Public Library. And it could get you into some kind of trouble with the FCC, which requires that all forums be broadcast in their entirety, unedited. Just to follow up on what Rachel said earlier. All the full recordings of this forum will be available for viewing through the library website and Laramie Public Access Channel 191. And eventually we'll have links to the forum video on our own website, wyominglwv.org. Okay, I'm not going to spend time on an office description tonight. I think we might have materials in the back describing the office. Yeah, good. Okay, and we also have on the third table in the back there, right in the edge by the maps, we have sample ballots for people to check out and really plan carefully how they want to vote. Okay, let's talk about our lovely moderator this evening. Our moderator is Carrie Bennett. She's a professional mediator and facilitator in private practice and a recovering former educator. She moved to Laramie in 2017, and she's on the board of an organization called Common Outdoor Ground, which is a local nonprofit that organizes volunteer projects on public lands in southeast Wyoming. And she's also a backyard chicken enthusiast. All right, we like Carrie. She's returning from previous moderation, and we're pleased to have her again.
I love doing these. I just left my small children at home, and they do not give me quite the same warm welcome that you all do. I feel so valued right now. Thank you so much for coming. This is just such a pleasure to get to do these candidate forums. I love when communities come together to think about hard problems together, and elections are one time that really galvanize us to do that. So thank you for turning out. This is tremendous turnout, and also for the questions you've already submitted. You already heard the routine in terms of time and rotation and all of that. I'm going to do my darndest to keep things straight between the different offices. So we have two candidates for sheriff and just one for the county attorney tonight. So I'll try to specialize targeted questions to the specific offices as well as general, more philosophical ones. I'm going to apologize in advance that I will not be able to answer all of the questions. And I rarely, if ever, ask them as written. It's the educator in me. I'm like, we'll just edit that in my own. No. Often I'm trying to combine questions so I can touch on things that were important to multiple people and or bring out nuance that may not have been present in the question. I don't ask questions that are gotchas. If you want to gotcha somebody, you can do it in the meet and mingle afterwards. I really try to ask questions that are going to dig to differences in candidates and their values and perspectives and how they'll serve in the office to help you make decisions. But it's my job to make them all look really good as they show their differences between one another so you can make good decisions voting. So just pro tip, there's so many questions, I'm going to do my best. So we have two candidates who weren't able to attend today, so we have written statements from them that some of our league members are going to read for you all before we start. This is the time for that, right? All right, and then we'll jump in with our candidates who are here and actual questions.
Okay, I'm reading a statement from Joel Defebaugh, candidate for Albany County Attorney on the Republican ticket in the primary. And he says, thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this forum and providing voters the opportunity to learn more about the candidates for Albany County Attorney. I regret that I am unable to attend in person. I am running for Albany County Attorney because I believe our community deserves experienced, steady leadership committed to justice, integrity, and public service. For the past 8 years, I have served as a deputy county attorney, handling everything from advising county officials on civil matters to prosecuting serious felony cases. I advocate in our local courts on almost a daily basis, working with victims, law enforcement, defense attorneys, and judges to ensure cases are handled fairly and according to the law. My service as a judge advocate in the Wyoming Army National Guard has further strengthened my leadership, judgment, and commitment to serving others. If elected, I will continue the office's tradition of providing sound legal counsel to county government while working closely with law enforcement, advocating for victims, and ensuring that every decision is guided by the law, fairness, and the best interest of Albany County. My commitment is to lead with professionalism, fairness, and respect for the rule of law. Thank you for taking the time to participate in our local democracy and for considering my candidacy. I have spent my career serving Albany County, and if entrusted with this office, I will continue to lead with experience, integrity, and a commitment to public service. I would be honored to earn your vote for Albany County Attorney. And if something comes up in the forum tonight that you want to follow up with Joel, I'm sure you can contact him at his campaign contact information, his website, or his email.
Good evening. I'm Nancy Lockwood. I'm a league member. I'm the one that's been communicating with all you candidates, so now you have a face to a name. And I am reading a statement from Roxie Hensley, who is a Republican candidate for the Albany County Attorney's Office. And she starts with, my name is Roxie Hensley. So a Republican candidate for Albany County Attorney. I sincerely regret that I cannot be with you in person tonight, but scheduling conflicts prevent my attendance. I thank you for providing me this opportunity to submit a brief statement. For those of you who don't know me, I have deep roots in the Laramie community. I first came here as an undergraduate in 1985, received a BS in personnel management in 1987, and returned to pursue a Juris Doctor in 2002, graduating in 2005. My husband and I raised our 4 children here while starting and operating 3 businesses in addition to a private law practice. From 2008 to 2019, I was a contract employee for the state's AG office as a GAL. This combination of public and private legal experience combined with real-world small business experience makes me uniquely qualified to execute the duties of the county attorney. The county attorney has basically 3 primary roles. The first is to prosecute and bring to justice all felony cases as well as misdemeanor cases committed outside Laramie City purview. As a former defense attorney, I'm well accustomed to the processes and procedures of the criminal justice system and have the advantage of having defended clients prosecuted by that system. The second primary role of the county attorney is to provide legal counsel and advice to the county commissioners and county department heads. The county attorney has a duty to provide legal counsel, civil, that will reduce incidences of judgments against the actions of county officials. The county attorney should also provide counsel to all county officials that ensures that all actions taken by those officials are clearly constitutional and do not inhibit the rights of the citizens. Finally, the county attorney is responsible for adjudicating juvenile, child neglect, and CHINS cases. My depth of experience in this area is unparalleled by any other candidate and is a knowledge base that is extremely valuable to the stability and serenity of our community. The family continues to be the foundation of our civilization, and we cannot hope to have a prosperous, peaceful, and well-adjusted society in its absence. Thoughtful decisions powered by deep insights in family law cases will have a positive impact in promoting stability and functioning, productive family units. As you make your decision regarding the candidate deserving of your vote, I trust that you will consider my commitment to fair and impartial application of the law, my dedication to this community, as well as my proven capacity to get the job done. I sincerely appreciate your consideration and support.
All right. Thanks for those candidates for submitting their statements, and thanks to you all in the room for being here to get peppered with all of these questions now. Let's jump in. So there are a bunch of questions already on Vote 411 that speak to what training and experience you have. We're going to let people go online to read those so that today can be live improv. But I do want to hear for each of you, this will go to all of you, who you are, what your party affiliation is. You can introduce yourself briefly that way. And then what do you foresee as the biggest challenge stepping into this office, whether you're an incumbent going back into it or as a newcomer? What do you see as the biggest challenge that you will encounter if you're elected early on? I'm going to start with Aaron on this one. We'll rotate who starts each time. 90 seconds. Go ahead and do 90 for this one. What's the biggest challenge? And if you have time in that 90 seconds, what would you want to do about it is fine. But it's also just fine to explain, like, this is a tricky thing that we're going to have to navigate. All right, Aaron, go ahead.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm Aaron Appelhans. I'm your current Albany County Sheriff. I think some of the biggest challenges in this upcoming term for the Albany County Sheriff's Office, one big one that's going to come up is budget. There is a ballot initiative to reduce property taxes by 50%. And Albany County is pretty reliant in terms of the services that we provide in the sheriff's office and other county offices on those property taxes. And so a large reduction in those taxes coming in will force difficult decisions in terms of services that we would be able to continue to provide. And so we're going to have to navigate those hard choices to continue providing that service while trying to maintain the levels of staffing that we have and that we currently enjoy within the Albany County Sheriff's Office. And so it'll be really incumbent upon everybody to educate themselves on that bill and see if that's going to be the best decision for the services that you currently are provided and enjoy from not only the Albany County Sheriff's Office, but many of the other offices that serve Albany County.
Thank you, Aaron. Go ahead. Darren, same question to you. Biggest challenges and what you might do about it.
My name is Daron Wyatt, and I'm running on the Republican ticket only because it's a partisan position in Wyoming, and you have to run on a ticket. I believe that the county sheriff represents the entire community, not a political party. I would agree with Aaron that the budget is going to be a huge issue coming up with the People's Initiative on the ballot. What he didn't say was that it could mean a 25% reduction in the workforce of the Albany County Sheriff's Office, which would be absolutely devastating. So we need to look for ways to use our money wisely, and to make sure that we're providing the best service possible with the available resources in the budget. So think about that when you're voting coming up in November. I think that there's two other things that are critically important that will be an issue with the Sheriff's Office. And number two is the safety and security of the detention center, ensuring that we reduce the number of deaths that are occurring in the detention center. Currently, the detention center in Albany County has an annual average of 3 times higher than the national average of deaths in the detention center. So that's a big issue. And the third thing is recruitment and retention of deputies and personnel. We need to make sure that we're hiring the best personnel, the most qualified personnel. And I kind of stand by a policy of we hire them right, we train them right, and we treat them right. And therefore, we can help retain quality people as well through that.
Thank you, Darren. Kurt, go ahead. Different office. What are the challenges you foresee?
Thank you. My name is Kurt Britzius, and I'm running for Albany County Attorney. I'm the current county attorney, and I'm a Democrat. The biggest issue that I see, like Mr. Wyatt and Sheriff said, is the budget and the possible 25% cut. The county attorney's office is almost exclusively personnel. So when you're talking about cutting budget, we don't have trucks, we don't have fuel, we have people. So that will leave people being gone. It is hard these days to retain attorneys. I don't know if it's a dying breed, but it's getting harder and harder to recruit them. We've managed to keep our crew pretty solid, which I'm proud of. We have not had a lot of turnover in my tenure, but it is inevitable. People move on, life changes happen. So the concern is, particularly if you start cutting positions and asking people to do more work for the same or less pay, you have a snowball effect there. And I think that's the biggest threat, at least to my office and to the other offices that are largely, their budgets are largely centered around paying people. And that human capital is hard to get these days. I think one way to do that is to streamline the courts. We have ways to keep people out of court to avoid convictions that also lessens the burden on the courts themselves. We have a couple diversion programs that we can still hold people accountable, but not have the strain on the courts or my attorneys or law enforcement dragging them into court all the time. That's one thing we have used effectively. I would use that in the future, but in the end, it is going to be a financial issue if the People's Initiative passes.
Thank you. Y'all did so well on the time. I didn't have to get out my hook or anything. It's early, but well done. Thank you. Compliment you on the good stuff. Daron, we heard different comments there in terms of retention of people, especially if there's budget crunch and just workload. So there's a question about employee wellness, employee retention. Can you expand? You've got another 90 seconds, and we'll give all of the candidates a chance to answer this. You would, in all of these positions, you're managing a team of people. So folks would love to hear, how do you support employee wellness? And so you can attract and retain those best folks.
Well, I think employee wellness is directly related to your retention efforts. And when you take care of your employees, they have a tendency to stick around, even when the pay is not that great. If you've got great leadership, then pay is not as important as knowing that they're going to be taken care of. To me, employee wellness is a multifaceted approach. I think that a peer support program is critically important. When I started in law enforcement in 1986 and you went on a critical incident and you got done and they told you to go get drunk and go home, we've recognized that that's not, it's not appropriate and it's not healthy for our individuals. So I think a peer support program is critically important, that we have resources available to them. I know that the sheriff's office in the county currently does have a program, an employee assistance program, where deputies and other employees can go to a series of counseling sessions for free. But I think that the peer support program just adds on to that. I think that it needs to go beyond just the employees and also to their families, because my wife and I have been married for 32 years, and there's things that we've just learned now after 38 years in law enforcement that were impacts on our marriage. And I think a peer support program, not just for the employee, but also for the family, would help to mitigate some of that.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Kurt.
Thank you. And providing attorneys some support is very important. It's a stressful job, no matter what area of the law you're in. Prosecution, particularly dealing with the juvenile side of things and children and family, and dealing with these kind of stressful situations. We offer days if you do jury trials so you can decompress. We're very open with having a flexible schedule so long as you get your work done and you show up in court on time. If you need to take an afternoon off to take your kids to a baseball game or something, you don't need to beg for permission. We try to keep that very fluid. We try to keep the stress in the office to a minimum. There is enough drama going on with the cases that we have, so we try to avoid any drama in the office itself. My door is always open. I'm talking to my attorneys pretty much all day long, every day, giving them support they need. If they have questions, try to never leave them out on their own. You know, if they're doing their first trial or their first hearing, I'll do it with them to try to give them that support, as will my other senior attorneys step in when people need some support. The best way to learn when you're an attorney is to have a more experienced attorney with you, to give you mentorship, really, which is often lacking in law firms. So I've tried to make a point not to have people come up like I did, give them some more support, give them some more stability, and give them the resources they need to be successful.
Thank you. Aaron, same question to you.
Sure, yes. Employee wellness has always been extremely important to me, being in this position. And at the Albany County Sheriff's Office, not only do we take it very seriously, but we follow through on trying to make the best environment for our deputies. And so in terms of employee wellness, we know that there are a lot of calls that our deputies go to that trigger responses that really affects them. And it runs the gamut of which calls affects which deputy. And so I've been fortunate enough to secure a grant from the Department of Health within the state of Wyoming. We've had that for a couple years now, to where any one of my deputies can go and see any form of counseling, peer, a psychiatrist, anything that they need to get them to help so that they can get back on the job and do it. And that's also open to all of their family members for whatever reason. And so it's a pretty progressive policy that we have. You don't see it a lot in law enforcement, where it's no questions asked. It's completely anonymous. The sheriff's office takes care of everything in addition to what the county pays for as well. And our deputies are able to use that as many times as they need to, whether that's once or 100 times. doesn't matter. It's there to take care of them and their family members. And so we try and create that environment by using that, and then all of the other benefits that we have within our office to help them.
Good work. Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate your thought on all those answers. Kurt. His name tag says Edward, but he's Kurt. Trust me. One of those family names things. I have one of those at home. Kurt, this is a question that's just for you, so the rest of you are off the hook for it. Can you speak to what in your career has prepared you to, and how do you go about advising the county commissioners on implications of decisions that they may be considering? I'm assuming that's a job you do.
It is. Part of the county attorney's job, as I believe Ms. Hensley pointed out, is providing legal advice to department heads, to the elected officials. Those include the county commissioners. They're basically our legislative body here in Albany County. They make the law and what we have to follow. And a lot of those things have implications. Zoning, those types of things can have legal implications that can lead to lawsuits. We've had plenty of them going on here lately. So what we do is we try to foresee possible legal ramifications and give advice to our county commissioners on those possible ramifications, like you would any client as a civil attorney, trying to avoid pitfalls that may arise, if you should pass a policy. Our job, though, is not to make policy. We simply advise on possible ramifications. If you do this, you may get sued by this group. You may get sued by both groups. I don't know, but here's what may happen. Here's what I think the outcome will be, but I don't know. We will have to do it and find out if you so choose. But in the end, the commissioners, they make the decisions, and then we follow up and defend their decisions at the best of our ability. And that also goes to the department heads. As for experience, I've been in this position for 5 years. Prior to that, I was mainly a criminal prosecutor, but I've worked in private practice as a civil attorney, though criminal defense was my primary law when I was in private practice. But I've been working with the commissioners in my role as county attorney. We have civil deputies that also assist in giving legal advice, but that is how we've been handling things.
Thank you very much. To our sheriff's candidates, although I think that there's something that Kurt may be able to speak to in this, partnerships and cooperation are important for public safety and the effective work of your job. How do you go about building partnerships and cooperating with external partners, and are there limitations to that that you'd like to speak to? Aaron, you get to go. Oh, wait.
No, it's him first.
Aaron got to go. Sorry. I have to check my tallies.
Doesn't matter.
Aaron, you get to go first on this one. So partnerships and cooperation with external partners, how do you go about doing it, and are there limitations to that?
Great. We've always really made it a priority to go out and make as many partnerships and cooperations with as many entities, both local and state, as we possibly can, simply because the Albany County Sheriff's is a lot of things, but we're not everything. And so a lot of the calls that we have garners more expertise from people in that field than what we can provide at the Albany County Sheriff's Office. And that's really what we look to make our partnerships, our strategic partnerships with there, to where if there's a crisis situation, or if there's expertise, wraparound services, a community organization that we can utilize and bring them in with a call, planning, training, or some type of other strategic use, we just do the work. A lot of that falls on me to go out there, boots on the ground, and make that connection and see how we can work together. And so it's been pretty good, pretty fruitful. We've made a ton of different connections to really help and bring those kind of a holistic type of service that we provide here at the Sheriff's Office. Not all of it, having to be criminal justice, criminal forward, or involving the Sheriff's Office, but just making that connection, referring people out of the jail, out of the criminal justice system, or out of the Sheriff's Office.
Thanks, Aaron. Daron, same question to you. How do you approach partnership and cooperation?
The partnerships they're just you can't do your job without them. We need to establish close working relationships with the University of Wyoming Police Department, the Laramie Police Department, the Wyoming Highway Patrol, Division of Criminal Investigations, because if a major event happens in Albany County, it's going to require a response from every single one of those agencies. So you need to have those relationships built in advance. You also need to train together so that when an event happens, if an event happens, you're going to arrive on scene, you're going to know how each other are going to operate, you're going to be able to successfully resolve the situation and not run into problems with people having different tactics, et cetera. I don't think that the relationships stop with local law enforcement. I think it's vitally important to establish relationships within county government, with the other elected officials, with the other department heads, so that you can work cooperatively together. You might not always agree on things, but you need to have those relationships so that you can work them out in a positive outcome. Also, the relationships in the community. I think that wraparound services are vitally important. It's not just, especially when it comes to mental health services and drug abuse and recovery systems or processes. We need to have those community partnerships to reduce the interactions between law enforcement and people in a mental health crisis. And the only way that you can do that is have partnerships in the community with mental health professionals.
Thank you. Kurt, I know it looks a little different in your office, but do you want to address what that looks like for you all and how you go about it?
Sure. So my office, we spend all of our time working with our partners. And on the criminal side, we're working with the Sheriff's Office, Laramie Police Department, Division of Criminal Investigation, University Police Department, as well as Highway Patrol and whoever else may be law enforcement in our community. They are our investigators, and we have to maintain good relationships with all those entities. We don't always see eye to eye on the outcomes of things, but we try to communicate with them so they understand where we're coming from and what we're trying to achieve and why we're doing certain things, and be respectful of one another. And I think that's worked fruitfully in the past. On the civil side, we're working with every department head, the commissioners, the elected officials. We, again, always be respectful. We're in that role, except when I'm working as an elected on some kind of county issue. We're providing legal advice and there to support them mainly and make sure their projects get done in a timely manner, their contracts get out and things like that. On the juvenile side, we're working with the Department of Family Services, with the school district, with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and a kind of collaborative method, because that's what juvenile law really is, trying to do what's best for these kids as we can and providing them support, wraparound services through Cathedral Home. We work pretty much with everybody in town in one way or another to try to provide services for the individuals, whether they're in the system criminally or as a juvenile, or to provide support for the other county offices.
Thank you. So yay, rah-rah, partnerships and cooperation. And the other part of that question is, are there limitations to that? So we have a lot of interest around specifically partnership with immigration and federal law enforcement, and the 287G statute in particular. So folks want to hear your view on county law enforcement. And I think this is mostly a Aaron and Daron question, but Kurt, you can chime in if you got a feel about it. How do you see that type of partnership as a benefit or a hindrance to overall safety in our community? Daron, you get to go first on this.
Yeah.
And since we have Aaron and Daron, Kurt, with your permission, I'd love to have Aaron respond after Aaron, and then go to you next, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Cool, thanks. Daron, go ahead.
Okay, so let's break it down first. There's two arms of cooperation with ICE. The first is a 287G agreement, which is an agreement between local law enforcement and ICE, which then allows local law enforcement to enforce immigration law in the community. That is being done in, there's 9 counties that have 287G agreements with ICE right now, as well as the Highway Patrol in 4 municipalities. It's being litigated, and I'm not in support of a 287G agreement. I believe that the immigrant community needs to be able to trust local law enforcement, and will leave immigration enforcement to them. I do believe the second side of that is what's called an ICE detainer. And an ICE detainer is when a person is arrested for a violation of state law. They're arrested for a violation of law here in Wyoming. They're taken into custody. There's a requirement if they're foreign-born to notify ICE. ICE then researches them, takes a look, and they will issue a detainer if the person has been deemed to be a threat to public safety, a threat to homeland security, or they've been arrested for a certain type of criminal violation, usually a violent crime. Albany County Sheriff's Office is the only county sheriff's office in the state that does not uphold those right now, and they release them back into the community, which ultimately brings ICE here because they send a task force over to rearrest the person in a non-controlled environment. I'm totally against that, and there's not enough time to tell you all of the details about it, but it's counterintuitive to think that ICE won't come here if you're releasing ICE detainees back into the community.
Okay. Thank you, Daron. Aaron, same question to you.
Yeah, so in terms of immigration, I've taken the stance as Albany County Sheriff for those detainers to not honor them because they are not signed off by a judge. They are not essentially legal detainers. With every federal office that I work with, and we work with numerous of them, every single one of them, when they want to detain somebody underneath their laws that they're enforcing, provides either a court order or a warrant, and that's what I'm legally required, statutorily required to enforce. And so I have the same policy with every department that I work with, that if you're going to extend a hold for anybody at the jail for any reason, you need those two things. Another reason why I don't do the detainers is not only for the legal reasons, but for the very few immigrants that we've had that's come through and their violations are extremely low, petty misdemeanors. Most of them are actually traffic violations on there as well. And so we allow them to go through their due process at the local court system, and if the judge deems them safe to go ahead and release them, then I am not in a position to create a law or make a law that I don't agree with. We will release them.
Thank you, Aaron. Kurt, do you want to add anything, knowing that your office is in a different type of position, but regarding law enforcement and immigration?
So it is not up to my office, of course, to accept these agreements or how we actually enforce detainers. That's totally with the sheriff's office. We would give legal advice about possible suits that could come up and about liability that could arise from doing those sorts of things or not doing them, but we don't decide. I know this is a very hot button issue because we're talking about human beings and members of our community. We try to be very careful when we're dealing with people that have immigration problems. When it's violent crime, it's much easier because I don't think anybody's arguing that doesn't need some severe ramifications. It's when you get to those petty offenses and what to do with them. Luckily, my office does not enforce immigration laws. We are not empowered to. That is a federal program. So we try to tailor things, our plea agreements and things of that nature, to fit the individual and the crime in front of us, and not be overly harsh, and not take their position in our society and our community into account. We do not get a lot of immigration, a lot of cases in which immigration really factors in, and quite often the ones we do get are from stops on I-80. They are often traffic infractions, people getting pulled over, or minor amounts of drugs, not so much within our community. I'm not aware if ICE is actually active in our community, and honestly, I'm the last person to know when they are. Generally, the law enforcement knows much better than I do. But we try to treat people as human beings. We try to treat people, given their situation, their circumstances, give them a fair shake.
Thank you. Kurt, I know you just spoke, but it's your turn to go first. Are you ready?
Yes.
People are interested in, especially given potentially dramatically tightened budgets, how do you go about assessing the costs and benefits of engaging in specific litigation, whether it's as a plaintiff or a defendant, and anything else you want to speak to in terms of that calculation of risk and benefit?
So I'll divide them up between criminal and juvenile versus civil. On the civil side, we have a local liability government pool. That's basically our insurance as the county. I think it's a state-run program that we pay into. And so when we get sued for some negligence, basically a civil suit, like a sheriff's officer car runs into somebody or something like that, they will step in if the car insurance doesn't step in and handle our representation. And it's worth every penny. It has been greatly beneficial in my experience to have, and I would encourage us to keep having it. As for criminal side of things, there is not a lot of cost on most things to try, particularly a misdemeanor case. State witnesses, they all testify for free. Anybody from the lab, whether it's DNA or chemical testing, they'll come over for free. Officers testify for free. Witnesses are generally local, so it's not a big deal. You just have to try the case. If the case is worth prosecuting, you have to get the money. There's a way to request the state to reimburse you. Money should not factor into whether or not you prosecute a case. That's the bottom line. If it needs to be done, you just have to do it.
Thank you for that. Appreciate your flexibility with my unconventional ordering here, too. All right, let's start back around with Aaron. There's a bunch of questions around data and immigration and community safety, but I wanted to broaden it to say, how do you use data broadly to inform your decision-making? Where do you turn to? How does that factor into your processes in making decisions? And you can speak to as that relates to immigration or otherwise, as you like.
Yeah, we use data in a variety of different ways. And so when it comes to law enforcement actions, we're using the statistical data that we have to put our deputies in the right place at the right time for both prevention services, prevention and active enforcement, and then also more reactionary type of things. We know where there's going to be crashes. We know the times of the day where DUIs are probably going to be more likely than others, and so we try and put people in the right places to where we can affect public safety. And then we use a lot of legal data in terms of some of the decisions that we make on policies, equipment, new technology that we use as well, just to see if it's going to be information that we can take in to make sure are we making the right decision? Is this actually going to affect public safety? Is it going to prevent crime? Is it going to stretch the few dollars that we have that we need to make stretch to the fullest on there? And so we pull data from a lot of different sources to make a variety of the law enforcement decisions that we make within the Albany County Sheriff's Office.
Thank you, Aaron. Darren, same question to you. How would you use data to inform your decision making?
So I think that what the audience really is asking about this is more in conjunction with collecting and storing data such as flock cameras and stuff like that. I'm not in support of that. I will echo what Aaron has said about using data for deployment of personnel, looking at where your best deployment is going to be to traffic accident reduction, DUI reduction. We can even use geographic analysis of crimes to see where another crime might occur. So if you have a series of burglaries that are going on, you can do a geographic analysis that might even point you to a direction where the suspect might be coming from to assist with your deployment of personnel. But when it comes to the collection and storage of mass data on the public, I'm not in support of that. Will not engage in it and will not try and promote it here in Albany County.
Thank you, Kurt. Different flavors of data, but do you want to speak to how you use data in the managing of your office?
Sure. So we have still been on the hunt for a good data management software program. They're very expensive, and we've gone through several, none of which have worked very well. And given the money crisis, we've actually put that money elsewhere into actually storing our discovery, which is the body camera and the chemical tests that we have to distribute. Not very exciting stuff. We kind of keep track of things. We have weekly meetings. We have spreadsheets where we keep track of which cases are going where, misdemeanor, felony, criminal cases, and juvenile cases, so we can keep a read on what's going on and where resources need to be allocated. If the question's on flock cameras and that sort of thing and monitoring people, personally, I'm not very much of a fan of that. Kind of the big brother aspect of that, really don't care for it. But they do it down in Colorado. I don't believe we have any of that going on in Wyoming, and I don't imagine we will.
Thank you. All right, next question. Oh, sorry. Our timers. It is a mentally laborious job to be the timekeeper, so we have a switch here. While they're doing this, I'm gonna switch it up real quick. If there's a question that I've asked that you've had another idea, or if you got a little more time to speak to, this is a quick callback. You get an extra bonus 60 seconds. Not any new questions, just like, hey, one other thing I was thinking about, or I wanted to add or to clarify. Daron, I'll let you go first on this one. Is there something else that you want to make sure people are clear on that you maybe didn't have time to before? And 60 seconds, if you are ready. I was trying to buy you all the time in the world.
Don't start that before you put up the start sign.
Yeah, ready? All right, 60 seconds. Go ahead, Daron.
Yeah, I'll go back to the ICE question, and what I want everybody to know is that regardless of what my opinion is, I will follow the law. There is currently no case decision that says it is unlawful. There are various case decisions across the United States. Some say it's not lawful, some say it is. They're not binding. I believe that it will ultimately go to the U.S. Supreme Court for a decision, and when the ruling is made, I will follow the law. If they say it's lawful, I'll uphold ICE detainers. If they say it's not, we simply won't do it.
Thank you. Kurt, anything else you wanted to put a pin on or expand on?
Yeah, the services the Albany County Attorney's Office provides. I mean, I think when we're working through cases and prosecuting them, and we're working with our partners and working with whether it's Department of Family Services or law enforcement, I think the office has gotten to a point where we have very good relationships with those entities, and I think that really helps us achieve what we want. When you have good partnerships with the electeds, the department heads, the law enforcement agencies, the various services we have in town, I think that really goes a long way. It's not always been that way. There's been some contention in the past, and I really think overcoming that and kind of rebuilding those relationships has been something that's been a benefit for the community. It's made my office work easier, and I think it's come to better outcomes.
Thanks, Kurt. Aaron, same thing. Call back.
Yeah, just a couple things that I wanted everybody to know. It's important to know very quickly on ICE. Like I said, the decision that I've already made with that is legal. We haven't been sued. We are not going to be sued, and it's been working out pretty well. And we're looking forward for that to keep going here in our community. In terms of flock cameras, I get calls to install those in the county about every 3 months, and I've turned those down for the last 4 years because I don't believe in the mass collection of data. It really starts to mess with your Fourth Amendment rights, and so a lot of times that tech is far faster than the law is catching up with it, and so we've always made that decision, and I'm going to continue to stick with that decision as we go. And then lastly, in terms of a comment was made about recruiting the best and the brightest, and that's something that we already do at the Albany County Sheriff's Office, and so we're going to continue to do that as well.
Thanks, Aaron. Kurt, it's your turn to go first. I think, does your office negotiate contracts and grants and things?
We assist in that.
Assist in that. Can you speak to your skills and superpowers and how you help us leverage in times of dire budgets, potentially? How does that look, and how does your skill set match with that demand of the job? I won't ask the sheriff's office this one. You do a completely different form of negotiation.
When I really think
we do some of the same.
What they're asking about is probably grant money and finding other funding sources, and I think the sheriff's office actually does that.
Okay.
Every entity in the county that has a program like the sheriff's office, many of them ask for grants, and we assist the grant office. In Albany County, we're lucky enough to have a grants office that actually assists with filling out, finding, and applying for federal grants, and they have done an amazing job in bringing in a lot of funding in Albany County. We are historically a relatively poor county, and that federal money has been key in providing a lot of services, a lot of money to the entire county, to the community, and we assist in applying and making sure that we are complying with those federal grants.
Okay, Thank you. If this is a relevant question in terms of grants, go for it. Aaron?
Sure. So, yes, ever since I've gotten in the office, we've made grants a priority. Anything that we can do to get another entity to help pay for training, equipment, anything else that we need that doesn't utilize Albany County tax dollars, it's my fiscal responsibility to try and utilize that. And we've done that to the tune of millions of dollars. And so the crisis intervention program that I have, that's a $250,000 grant from the federal government. The mental health, mental wellness grant that I have is $180,000 that I've gotten from the Department of Health. We've gotten all kinds of different types of equipment grants, equipment money that we use for search and rescue, radios, vehicles, bulletproof vests. We also have a few enforcement grants as well. So DUIs are a big issue here. It's a big public safety issue in Albany County, and so we have grants to minimize that as well.
Thanks, Aaron. Daron, negotiation, grants, applications, go.
Well, I think it goes beyond just grants. Grants are important. There's federal grants, there's state grants, there's local grants, and yes, any money that you can bring in to assist you in your budgeting and get equipment and get training and get personnel is great. But one of the things that hasn't been talked about is contracts. And as a sheriff, you'll negotiate contracts. I have a master's degree in behavioral science with a minor in negotiation and conflict management. I've negotiated contracts before. A big one that was negotiated recently at the sheriff's office was for jail medical services at $901,000 a year. I don't know what kind of negotiation went into that, but I can guarantee that if elected, we will be looking at that and looking at actually negotiating contracts and getting what's best for the county.
Thanks, Aaron, or I'm sorry, thanks, Daron. Back to Aaron for starting the first one. There's been some mention of safety within the jail, deaths of folks in detention, inmate suicide, et cetera. What ideas do you have, if elected, to improve inmate safety in the jail?
Yes, so ever since I've gotten in there, we've done everything we possibly can to increase inmate safety while we're there. And one of the big issues that we have with inmates coming in is they usually come in with undiagnosed mental health issues. And so we've been able to contract with mental health services within the jail to provide that care for them while they're in there, diagnose some of the issues that they have, and provide just about everything that we possibly can. One of the things that we've had difficulty with is because when somebody really kind of gets to that point where they're thinking of completing a suicide, you can't take everything away from an inmate while they're in there. You can't start trampling on their rights and take everything away from them to where they're not going to complete a suicide. And so we are always trying to manage what we can do to get them the help that they need, but keep them alive as well.
Hold on to that. We can come back to it. Daron, what ideas do you have for safety and inmate wellness in prison?
Mental health awareness and mental health treatment is vitally important, but it goes beyond that. You're the custodian of the detention center, and the safety of the prisoners is your responsibility. I think that the current staffing model is inappropriate. They do what is called indirect supervision, where they monitor inmates via cameras, which are outdated and don't see into cells. The national standard is what's called a direct supervision model, where deputies are actually in the pods having face-to-face contact with the inmates. They're doing checks on a regular basis. If there is a person who has a mental health issue, they're placed into a special handling unit where they're monitored even more closely. And I think that's the only way that you're going to stop this from happening in the jail.
Thank you, Daron. Kurt, I don't think this pertains to you.
No, ma'am.
I've got a different question, though. When you think about hiring decisions, what influences your decision-making for who you choose to hire and what that looks like?
Luckily, we haven't had a lot of turnover since I took over in 2021, but when we have, it's a little bit different between staff and attorneys. But when you're hiring attorneys or staff, really, one of the biggest things is that it's a good fit. We have a very kind of tight, close office. We have to be able to work with one another. You have to have high professional standards. We ask them questions, how they would approach various cases to make sure they kind of meet the standard we have. Not too lax, not too zealous. You're just looking for the perfect fit for the office. Our office basically has survived for 20 years or so, and we have a kind of the way we do things. We want people that are going to be a good fit, that have our standards when it comes to plea agreements and what to take to trial, how to treat individuals, and treat other parties, counsel, everyone courteously, and have a good courtroom demeanor, and project for the office a respectful demeanor.
Thanks, Kurt. I think this is relevant to the sheriff's candidates too. What do you look for? What influences your decisions in terms of hiring? Go ahead, Aaron.
So what we look for most of all is what we call soft skills. The sheriff's office does a very good job of teaching people how to become a deputy. We can teach people how to drive their vehicles, use custody control, use of force in a good way. All of the traditional cop things. One of the things that law enforcement traditionally struggles in is really getting people with those skills on how to talk with a variety of different people from a variety of different places. And so we really are trying to recruit those people that already have those skills. And they bring that in and add to our office, and then we add everything else that they need so that they can go out and do the job to the best of their ability and to meet those standards that Albany County residents have come to expect from the Albany County Sheriff's Office. And so that's how we go about that.
Thanks, Aaron. Darren, how about you? Influences on your
First and
decisions?
foremost, I look for somebody who's going to be able to meet the state-required standards of being of good moral character as shown through a comprehensive background investigation. But what I look for personally is I look for somebody with integrity. I look for somebody with compassion. I look for somebody who can think clearly on their feet and make good decisions under stress. I look for people with life experience, because many times you've got young deputies responding on calls for service for domestic violence, and if they're not even married, how can they relate to this, right? So you have to look for people who can actually relate to people in the public, and for people who care about the community. They're invested in the community. They want to make the community better. They want to improve the image of law enforcement. They want to garner trust, and overall, they just want to see improvement, not just in the community, but in the agency as well.
Thanks, Darren. All right, starting with Kurt. I know you went first on the last time, but that's because their previous question didn't apply to you. I'm going to have you go first on this one again. Got to find it. There are several questions about having a victim-centered approach to prosecuting domestic violence and sexual assault cases, and also curiosity thinking about support for victims and witnesses. Can you speak to how you show care for folks that are in those vulnerable situations, especially in cases where you might have an uncooperative survivor or just a fraught circumstance, as those tend to be?
So the Albany County Attorney's Office has a crime victim witness unit. 3 individuals work there. Kelly and Grace have been there for a very long time and do a very good job with relating to people on a personal level, texting them, contacting them in a way that makes them feel comfortable, and listening to them. We set up meetings with attorneys, particularly on violent crimes. You always have the option to meet with the attorney to explain your feelings. Often in domestic violence cases, the victim does not want to go forward. We will. It's our choice, not theirs. But we respect what they want. We try to give them a voice so they get heard. And always, with those violent crimes, give the victim respect. And a lot of times they just want somebody to listen to them. They just want somebody from the system to actually sit down with them and talk to them. And if you do that, I think you're giving them a much better experience in the criminal justice system. In the sexual assault, if the victim does not want to go forward, I will never drag a victim into court. That is a bridge too far. They've been through enough. But really just listen to them and take them seriously.
time. I apologize on these questions that there's so much to say and that you're packing it all into 90 seconds, but thank you for your brevity. Aaron, I think this is relevant for the, Aaron and
I think it
Darren.
is 60
She's
now.
been doing 60.
I've been racing the.
Oh, let's go back to 90. I'm the worst. They've been working extra hard. All these candidates are superstars because I didn't communicate. Sorry. 90 seconds again. Let's do, Kurt, do you want 30 seconds more to speak? Because I want to give these guys 90.
Sure.
I got this one. I'll do this timer. Go ahead. Do you want another 30 seconds to add anything else?
I'll very briefly, I'll just say that, as I already said, sitting down with the victims, being willing to hear them, no matter what's going on in the case, and that's really what means everything. Even if they don't agree, even if you don't agree with what they're asking, just giving them that time to actually talk with the attorney, I think that means a lot for them, and I think it makes the whole system, no matter how things end up in the case, it makes it better for them.
Awesome, thank you. Aaron and Daron, let's hear from you all, knowing that it's not prosecution and going to court, but just supporting folks through probably some of the very worst days in their lives. How do you approach that to support victims and witnesses?
So every call that we have is a crisis situation for the person that's calling in. And so all of our deputies have been trained in trauma-informed investigations, trauma-informed interviewing as well. We start by believing and then go from there. And so like I kind of talked about before, you never really know what's going to trigger somebody. And so we go in there, like I said, with that trauma-informed knowledge, and we're able to tailor our investigations, tailor our questions to make it comfortable for the victim to come forward. We also have basically a policy at the Albany County Sheriff's Office where we are there to not only enforce the law but try and help seek justice. And we really look at what justice means for the victim or the survivor in that case. And so we're trying to seek whatever justice looks like for that person. And that looks like a lot of different things. Sometimes it's reporting the crime but not moving forward on it. Sometimes it's all the way through prosecution. Sometimes it's a referral out to other services. But we're always have it in our forefront. It's always our goal for every call that we get to, like I said, make sure that we're seeking justice for that victim or that survivor of that crime.
Thanks, Aaron. Daron, same question to you.
I think, first of all, working cooperatively with the county attorney's office, the prosecutor's office, and crime victim services is hugely important. One of my assignments in the past was working at a family justice center, which was essentially wraparound services for victims of sexual assault, domestic violence, child abuse, elder abuse, where we would have social workers, we would have counselors, we had crime victim counselors there or assistants there to work with them, as well as detectives. So it was really a function of everybody working together to assist the victim, and whether that means moving forward with the prosecution, assisting them in getting compensation for their losses, getting them counseling, getting them housing if they needed it, because you need to remove them from a domestic violence situation. And I think that that's the role of the sheriff's office, is to work cooperatively with the other partners to try and ensure that the victims are, as you say, it's a victim-centered approach to make sure that they're really the ones that you're looking for and taking care of from the start of the process all the way to the end. Too often, they're there in the beginning, they're there for the investigation, but when it's time to go to court, they're forgotten about, and they're sitting there looking at their accuser with no support whatsoever, and I think that that needs to change.
Thank you. Aaron, I think you are due to go first on this next one. I have a couple questions about Wyoming's animal abuse statutes and how you go about gathering information to arrest and prosecute animal cruelty cases. Do you feel like Wyoming statutes are adequate to prevent animal cruelty? And if you want to speak to how you go about gathering information for those types of cases.
Right. So a lot of animal cruelty cases, especially when it involves livestock out in the county, do come through the Albany County Sheriff's Office. It is my personal belief that the state laws are lacking quite a bit and doesn't give law enforcement the full tools and resources to be able to prosecute those cases and to keep those from occurring. So, but when we get in them, I'll try not to go into all the weeds and everything, but there's a whole set of laws that we go through and other partners that we use in terms of livestock board, livestock investigator, to where we can gather the information that we needed, find out if the death is truly meet those standards of animal cruelty. Then we're able to seize the animals, take care of the animals, and then move that case over to the county attorney's office for prosecution. Which then the county attorney gets to use some of the limited laws to try and, like I said, get a prosecution and really keep those folks from keeping and being cruel to animals or killing animals in the future.
Thank you. Daron, same question to you. Sorry. Sorry. Administrative minutia over here. Ignore the people behind the curtain.
So I think that it's not just animal cruelty, it's also animal neglect. I know that there's been a case in the county recently where an individual was hoarding animals, many of them sick and unhealthy, and they were brought, taken into custody by the sheriff's office, taken to the fairgrounds, and a majority of them have been sent out to rescues and fosters, which is great. I would tell you that if I was the sheriff and I looked at a statute and I didn't think it was sufficient, as the chief law enforcement officer of the county, I would be working with the legislature to try and strengthen those laws. That's my job as the sheriff. If criminal statutes are not sufficient, then you go and you work to get them changed. I know that there was an issue recently in Wyoming with the stalking laws and harassment laws, and a individual was able to lobby the legislature and strengthen those laws. But that's our job, and then we need to work with the county attorney's office to ensure that there's sufficient prosecution. Now, what most people don't understand is the level of what we need to make an arrest is called probable cause or reasonable suspicion. What the county attorney needs to file criminal charges is a belief that they'll be able to prove that case beyond a reasonable doubt to a jury. So it's incredibly important that we work together on these cases to ensure that we can have a successful prosecution.
Thank you. Kurt, I think this is relevant in terms of what it takes to prosecute those cases and if the laws are adequate as you see them now.
And the laws in Wyoming, they definitely need to be tweaked. I don't think anyone would argue with that. And I think you have a push and pull. It is an agrarian state, so there is a pull to not to somehow inhibit people from traditionally raising livestock and things, but balancing that with the responsibility we have to make sure people aren't abusing and neglecting animals. And I think that's been the give and take in the legislature. I think they need to look at it again. It's been a long time. Ideas have changed over that time where they can make the penalties a little bit more severe and allow for maybe a broader scope of things that we could address. We do have powers working with the brand inspector and the sheriff's office. We have in the past impounded animals, and we have a mechanism to make sure they're being taken care of and eventually adopt them out, horses and cattle and things of that nature. In the city, it's been more of a hoarding issue as well as a little bit of animal neglect. We have been lucky so far and have been able to get a hold of these animals, get them off to where they need to be. We have a great animal control unit with the LPD, Laramie Police Department, that we work with in getting the animals adopted out, getting them taken care of. I think the biggest issue is the penalties could be more severe. We really need to dissuade people from neglecting and abusing animals, and I think that needs to be looked at the legislative level.
Thanks, Kurt. Daron, you get to go first on this one. We talked about potential budget cuts depending on the changes with property taxes, but a new facility for the Sheriff's Department was on the September, the 6th?
No, special election in May.
Thank you, the special election ballot. It's the handwriting, that's the problem. It's not my lack of local awareness. How would you invest that money? I think some of it is already designated, has to be used for XYZ, but given new investments to support the Sheriff's Department, how would you invest?
Well, I would tell you that the spet tax did not have a new facility for the sheriff's office. It had a new county administrative building. Yes.
There is misinformation in the room, and we are clarifying this right now. Let's start the time again.
Yeah. So the sheriff's office will remain where it's at, is my understanding, but there will be some remodeling of the facility. As far as that goes, I don't even know what the time period of that is. I think they're looking at probably a minimum of 5 to 8 years before that gets off the ground. It's the Laramie Police Department who's getting a new facility. It's a new public safety building. The sheriff's office was invited to be a part of that, and for whatever reason decided not to be part of that. I don't know what the real reasons were, so I can't comment on that. But there is no money for a new sheriff's office at this point.
Okay. Aaron, do you want to speak to, now knowing that that money isn't on there?
Right. The Albany County Sheriff's Office was involved in a joint public safety building, and we did make a request to be on the special purpose tax. But our request for a new building, equipment, and other things was removed from that special purpose tax request, basically by our commissioners. They made the decision to remove everything that the Albany County Sheriff's Office asked for. And so now that the special purpose tax has been approved, we're pivoting because there is money in there to renovate the county courthouse once the new administrative building is there. And so we're looking to make renovations. We're pretty high on the list with the state Supreme Court to get a second judicial district court here in Albany County, and so we'll need to make room for them. And then we're also probably going to consolidate our space so that all of our attorneys can be in that building. So the Albany County prosecuting attorney is already in there. We're probably going to look to make space for public defenders to be in there as well. So, and hopefully be able to do renovations to where we can pull over crime victim witness, other entities of the Albany County Attorney's Office.
Thanks, Aaron. Kurt, I don't think you got any, do you have a dog in this fight?
Not really, no.
Let's see, Kurt, I think that you are due to go next. Would you speak to, if there were going to be investments in the courthouse, court infrastructure, et cetera, knowing that that's where your teams work, what would you like to see for investments for that? How would you prioritize, should there be a windfall or opportunity to make those improvements that aren't already in the works? What would you advocate for?
And, I think we need to focus on the courthouse. As the sheriff said, we're somewhere in line on getting a new district court judge because our current load on our current district court judge is very heavy. We just have one in Albany County. And we will need to find space, maybe possibly in the future, another circuit court judge. We again just have one circuit court judge. It would be very nice if my office and the public defender's office could both be in the courthouse for safety reasons, and so that we both have full access to the courts. My office is actually split right now, partly in the courthouse, partly in a rented building, which is also money we're putting out, which is not great. If we could put everybody in the courthouse, that would be optimal, and have both the attorneys, the criminal division, the civil division, discovery, and the crime victim witness all in the same office, as well as having the public defenders there in a separate office, but in the courthouse. I think that would be the optimal outcome.
Thank you. Let's see. It gets so hard as we're getting to the end. I'm like, oh, there's so many children I still love and want to make public. Let's circle back to community connections. We've talked about the formal partnerships and kind of that collaboration that you have. Can you speak to how you go about gaining community's trust in the more everyday, mundane sort of ways? Aaron, I think Daron answered first last time. I'm going to have you go first on this one. And Kurt, I think this is relevant for you too. But how does that work for you in the day-to-day of building community trust and relationships in the mundane sort of way?
Really, building that community trust we do a lot of work of just trying to get out in the community, not stuck in the office to where we're trying to solve crimes for a desk. We get out there, we talk with people, make those connections so that people can physically see what we do, and then grow in that trust that the sheriff's office is out there looking for their best interest. And so not only in terms of enforcing the law, but in educating the law. And then we go out there and try and make as many community connections as we possibly can in a non-law enforcement capacity as well. Every deputy that I have lives here in Albany County, is a part of Albany County, is a part of the community, and every single one of them wants to be part of the community. And under my leadership, I allow them to do that in their official capacity. And so it's worked really well. We've gotten a ton of feedback from the community that they enjoy it. They like seeing us in a lot of the places that we're in a non-law enforcement capacity, and we're going to continue to do so so long as I'm in this position.
Thank you. Daron, how do you go about building trust in the community?
Personal contact is key. Both times I've had to call the sheriff's office to file a report, they handled it over the telephone rather than coming out to my house and meeting with me face-to-face. You have to have that face-to-face contact. Deputies need to be out making contact with people, even when they're not, in an enforcement capacity. I've talked to ranchers out in the rural community that have said they haven't seen deputies in a very, very long time. They need to be out there in the rural areas making contact with people. In town here, it's the same thing. The administrative staff, why can't they walk across the street to the soup kitchen and have lunch with the people at the soup kitchen? That's establishing community trust right there. That's interacting with your constituents. That's meeting people. I'm a member of Rotary. I have been for several months now. I would continue that. It's establishing that. I would also establish a sheriff's advisory board with key members from the community, both the ranching community and the Laramie community, that we would meet monthly to talk about the issues in the community, see what the public needs, what they want, what their perceptions of the office are, how we can better provide service to them, and that's what it takes. It's a personal relationship with people, and you have to work on that every single day to keep that trust and establish that trust. Thank you.
Go ahead, Kurt. Same to you.
Thank you. We're a bit different than the sheriff's office. We pretty much are in our offices all day, so it makes it a bit more difficult to have direct community interaction. But we do it in indirect ways, having contact with victims, make sure we're communicating with them, meeting with them if need be, making sure crime victim witness is speaking to them and they're getting promptly notified of what's going on. In the juvenile realm of things, with child protection and delinquency, the juvenile attorney is constantly at meetings with DFS, Department of Family Services, the school. We go with parents, talking with them. We have a juvenile diversion program where if your kid gets a citation, it comes to us first. And so we're constantly interacting with parents in that capacity. But it's a little bit different than the sheriff's office, but we try to make ourselves as available as possible and to communicate whenever we can.
Thank you. Let's see. Daron, you get to go next.
Okay.
Tell us about the experiences that you have that prepare you for managing major incidents, things like the Mullen Fire or other kind of catastrophic things where it's all hands on deck and time matters.
So in my 38 years in law enforcement, I've helped to manage a number of large events. I worked in Anaheim, California, where we had presidential visits fairly regularly. And as the public information officer, I was responsible for helping to coordinate the security plan for those events. I also was public information officer for a fire department, which led me into the incident management team world. So when the Mullen fire had happened, there were like 4 separate incident management teams that came on that. I'm part of the command staff, or I had been part of the command staff on an incident management team like that. As a result, I've deployed to more than 35 natural disasters across the United States, including historic wildfires in California, New Mexico, and Washington. Through that, as the public information officer, I would run a team that dealt directly with the operations staff, with the command staff, and then I would be leading a team of public information officers that were the public-facing part of the incident. In those incidents, I'll just give you an example, the Camp Fire in California in 2018, where there were 18,000 structures destroyed and 86 deaths. I ran a team of public information officers of 57 people. I dealt directly with the sheriff's office, dealt directly with the county commission, dealt directly with the citizens, and helped to manage that incident.
Thank you. Kurt, no offense, I don't think you do crisis management. I'm going to pass this one over to Aaron, and then we'll have you kick us off for the last one. Go ahead, Aaron.
Great. Definitely been in law enforcement for 16 years, and the last 6 years have been sheriff, and have that opportunity to manage all of the incidents that we've had, whether that's a weather incident. I know some of you guys looked at me a little bit earlier. I was on my work phone as I'm managing evacuations for the fire that we have at Fish Creek on the south end of our county right now. And so whether it's a small incident like maybe a pile up on the highway or a small snow incident, to larger things in terms of wildfires, evacuations, those types of incidents. I've had that experience in managing. And me being the sheriff, I am the incident commander for all of those instances. And so we reach out and use our partnerships with fire services, both with local fire services, volunteer fire services, federal fire services as well for those things that we need. Department of Homeland Security, that's where all of our partnerships that I've made when I've been here really, it's really where the rubber meets the road, where we're able to call on that help and have them come. And also with all the partnerships that I have with all of the surrounding counties that I have agreements with, whether that's for personnel or equipment. And so my experience with emergency management has been on the ground here in Albany County for every emergency that comes up.
Thank you. All right, we have time for kind of one more question, but I'm going to sneak in a bonus one with it, and then turn it back over to Matthew to wrap us up. Kurt, you get to go first on this one, but it is of a different ilk than the other ones. I think running for office is a super heroic type of feat, and I would like to imagine you all wearing superhero capes. When you were born with a unique set of gifts that you came into the world with and things that you have developed over time. If you were going to put a word on the back of your superhero cape that really embodies talents that you uniquely bring to this office, think about, I'm going to give you some time to think because this is a different type of question. Think about the people who love you the most and admire you the most. What's that word that they would use to describe you that you bring into work every day, even though nobody can see the cape that you wear? And the second piece, this is the bonus question. We're going to imagine your superhero cape being like a little like a football jersey, and there's not only the name of your superpower, so it might be brains or compassion or whatever your word is, but there's also a number on the bottom, and that number, somebody wants to know how long you've lived in Wyoming, so that number is the year that you came to Wyoming. So if it were me, I'd come up with some clever word about how hilarious I am, and then 17, because I didn't get my butt here until 2017. So whatever year you moved in, this is not to be ageist, some of you were born or got whatever. If your number's like 14, no, I'm just kidding. So think about what's your word that would go on your superhero cape, what's a skill that you uniquely bring to the office, and what number would go on there for the year that you joined the Wyomingite world.
Good question.
No 90 seconds. This is a word and a number. And if somebody cross-stitches, I want you to start working on these. Kurt, what's your word and what's your number?
Yeah, I would say calm. Just come in with calm presence. It takes a lot to get me wound up. And I think that's good in my position because you want somebody that's deliberate and really takes things easy, goes through things and works through things. I think
Nice.
that's probably it. And I would be an 04. I came here for law school in 2004.
04, awesome. Calm and 04. I hope that somebody who loves you is like taking notes and is working on the felting or whatever now, Kurt. Thank you for that. Aaron, how about you? What's your word? What's your number?
I think my word would be humble. A lot of people come and comment on when I'm interacting with them, just kind of how down to earth and humble I am. If there's any complaints, it's that I don't advertise myself nearly enough from what my constituents say. And my number would be 99 because I got here at the turn of the century in 1999 and haven't left. So enjoy it here.
Sweet. Humble 99. Good.
I'm going to phone a friend because my mother and my wife are both in the audience.
Oh, no. Wait. Audience participation is later. No. There's rules about this. Channel their thinking. What would they say?
My word is going to be integrity.
Nice.
And my number is 2019. I've been here for 6.5 years, almost 7 years.
Cool. 19 and integrity. Brilliant. Whatever your word and your number, I appreciate your willingness to run for office. And I know we'll get to do this all again in the general election. Remember that you aren't deciding between these candidates quite yet. But in the general election, everybody who moves forward to the general election ballot will be. Matthew's got a few closing things, so don't leave. Last time I accidentally wrapped up and then it was impossible to wrangle everybody back. Matthew's got a few closing announcements for folks. And then after that, there will be mingle time where the candidates will hang around. I know there are questions that I didn't get to, and I apologize deeply for those. I will be perfect one day, and you'll have to put up with me in the meantime. But thank you again for coming out today and for
Carrie,
showing up.
I'm going to make a challenge to the audience that somebody
Breaking the rules.
purchase and put our word and our number on the back of a UW jersey for each of us.
Is that a campaign contribution? Do we have to file something with someone? Thank you for that. All right, Matthew, for the last closing remarks. Thank you.
Testing. Okay, good. All right, so we're going to conclude this forum first with a forgotten tradition, because I forgot it.
Yeah.
All right. Any candidates running for office in the audience tonight, or elected officials already elected, please feel free to stand up and tell us your name and office.
We can.
And we'll start
We're going to
on-
do this talk show style. Oh, is that all right?
Okay, yeah, sure. It'll take longer. We actually have a microphone that picks up the audience audio pretty good.
Overhead mic.
It's overhead.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Let's do one side of the room and then the other. Someone take the initiative.
My name's Kayla Mariquin. I am running as a Democrat for Clerk of the District Court.
I'm Sharon Cumby, Mayor, Laramie, City Councilor, Ward 1.
Chelsea Matthews, Albany County Assessor, seeking re-election.
Gary Wilkin, running for House District 46 as your representative. I'm a Democrat.
Robin Davis, running for County Commissioner, a Democrat.
Emily Studi, Republican, running for House District 14.
Sally King, your current Albany County coroner and running for re-election.
That off, Albany County Commissioner. I am not running.
Sam Buckwalter for City Council.
Tammy Hooper, I'm running for City Council, Ward 3. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Cam Wright. I'm Republican running for House District 46.
I'm Erin O'Doherty, and I'm on City Council Ward 3, and I'm running for re-election.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tracy Fletcher. I'm your current Albany County Treasurer, and I'm running for my third term this year.
And I'm Eric Henderson, and I'm running for Laramie City Council, Ward 1.
We need a lot more football jerseys, I'm going to say.
All right, well, we want to thank our lovely moderator tonight. Always always does a great job. And we want to thank the library for letting us use their wonderful newly renovated space, and especially Rachel Crocker for doing all the tech support tonight. And just a few more remarks here. I want to remind the audience that we, the League, we read statements from 2 candidates who could not attend this evening, Roxie Hensley and Joel Defebaugh, if I'm saying that right. And you can find copies of their statements on the candidate materials table back there if you want to read them at your own leisure. And the big reminder today is that yesterday our voter guide was published in the Laramie Boomerang. And you can still obtain this. Today. Oh, was it today? Oh my goodness.
It's supposed to be yesterday, but they were late.
Right. Yeah, we're 1 day late. Sorry about that. Yeah. And I want to remind people that, so you can find it in the paper. If you go to the Boomerang offices, you can get a copy. There's a few places around town you can find it, like the Epson Senior Center. And the library, and also we, the League of Women Voters, we have a PDF version of the voter guide available for download on the Laramie page of our website, wyominglwv.org. And then finally, if you haven't had enough, there's an electronic version of our voter guide. It's called Vote 411, a web-based interactive version. You just go to vote411.org, you type in your address, and you get a ballot customized to wherever you live, so you know exactly who's going to be on your ballot and what sort of questions they've been answering, which are the same exact questions that we have in our voter guide. Okay, I want to invite the audience to converse with candidates as we put things away. And candidates, any candidates here, please pick up your materials from the back table at the end of the forum tonight, because we are done with primary forums. Oh, and one more thing. The State League of Women Voters has been hosting forums for statewide offices and national offices, and I want to encourage people to check them out on our website. They're right on our homepage. We have them all linked. And I think just last night we did a gubernatorial forum. So check those out too. Okay, thanks for coming, everybody, and please join us again in September for our candidate forums for the general election. Have a nice evening.